Hello, welcome to this alternate channel, the anti-war channel for Mike's Harder Mango. I bought this in Mississippi. One of these exits off of Interstate 10. If it's at one place, it's at others. Had it in the 23.5 ounce can, which I took a photo for the thumbnail for this video. You know what the Mike's Harder cans look like. The price was so-so for it, but I wanted to try it, so I bought it. That place wasn't very nice. I've been at better rest stops, but wasn't horrible either. But I also had one called Purple Grape, Mike's Harder Purple Grape. So that's an oddity for me, so I bought it. I did a locator tool. I checked the locator tool on Mike's Harder website. It's not sold around here. I didn't think it was. I didn't recall seeing it before. So let's look at it. Orange, and it's like a yellow orange, like a mango. And what do they make out of mango? Chutney. Cross and Blackwell mango chutney. But I don't like the price for that little bottle. That little jar, I guess. I want to see if maybe Walmart has a better price for it. I was at Walmart today, though I wasn't on that side of the store, to try that Cross and Blackwell mango chutney. I had chutney once, but it was so long ago. It's sort of like a marmalade. Put it on crackers with some cream cheese, something like that. The flavors here are natural. It's naturally flavored. So could it be some like dehydrated, pulverized mango additive that they buy in bulk? It's probably something like that. Or could be a mango puree. Or it could be like mango refuse. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe a company like, let's see, who makes Cross and Blackwell? It's Welch's, I think, or Kraft. One of those. They bought it out. You know, Cross and Blackwell got bought. It's one of these major companies. So they're making the chutney, right? There's a lot of leftover globs of mango. You know, they might contract with these brewers and say, look, we got all this stuff, you know, it's going to turn bad. It's going to go rancid in a couple of days. And every so often is when we're going to have it. And then the brewing company might say, and there's one in Wisconsin, New York, and Tennessee. There's 3 locations to do this product. They might say, well, okay, what's your scheduling? So we're going to get the bulk stuff. And then on those days, we'll make the mango flavor. I mean, it's plausible. I don't know the internal operations of those, but, or it could just be, like I say, a dehydrated mango. It's like a huge drum of it or container of it, and they pour it in the beer. I really don't know. And then they add the flavor, the coloring. And they probably add a lot of sugar because it tastes like Sunny Delight, which I never drink that stuff. I don't even like it. It looks like Sunny Delight, and it tastes like Sunny Delight. All right. Is there a beer flavor? Not really. There's only an underlying beer flavor, like very, very almost indetectable pale malt. But I think most people, if you let them try this, they would not think it's a beer. But I could be wrong, because it could be that I'm so used to drinking beer that to me, I don't taste it. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that doesn't drink a lot of beer, like my father, he doesn't drink anymore. He might taste it and say, that just tastes like beer to me. I really don't see how he would say that, because to me, it tastes like mango flavored Sunny Delight, like I said. Is it a bad product? Certainly not bad. I mean, I did a solo review, which I'm going to upload to the main channel. Right? So I can say, well, the style is trash, you know. Pre-mixed canned beer cocktails is a garbage style, and anybody that drinks it is a fool, you know. It doesn't count. Like, don't even talk about it. But that's That's an improper approach to reviewing beer and checking them out, because the style exists. I don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. I don't have to have any like respect for it, any of those things. But it's on the shelves at these convenience stores. People are buying it, and at grocery stores too, because you can buy variety packs or multi-packs of these, like the same flavor. I've seen that. Local grocery stores right here. Bottles and cans. I don't know about the harder in bottles, but if the Mike's Hard is in bottles, I would assume the harder is in bottles in some format. In fact, when I was looking at the Look-At-It tool, I believe they showed, would you like to try bottles? All right. Now, is it on draft? Now that I would doubt, but you might get shocked. So when I review, I'll try to do it according to style, not according to what I think should exist. That doesn't really matter. What I think should exist is irrelevant. I don't count. If I died tonight, the beer world would move on, and my opinions wouldn't make a hill of beans difference. You know that, and I know that. Neither would anybody else's virtually. You say, what about the great Michael Jackson, the great famous beer reviewer? Didn't make a hill of beans difference. He died. His books are still around. Brewing continued. That's the past. Okay? No disrespect to him, but that's the past. This is the present. This is on the market now. It's a big seller, and honestly, medium bodied. You think it would be heavy, right? At 8%, it isn't. It's tart like a citrus fruit. You probably add in sodium citrate, which the U.S. government doesn't consider it to be an additive. There's a tartness, probably a lot of sugar, and this mango flavoring, whatever it is. And I say it's not actual mangoes because it seemed like they would say that on there, with real mangoes, right? Like Bud Light Lime and Bud Light Orange with real orange peels. See, they would tout that, made with real mangoes. But no, it says made with natural flavors, which is making me think like either a puree, an extract, or a dehydrated pulverized thing. All guesswork. I don't know. It's crafted to reduce, it's crafted to remove gluten. And they brag about it on their website, Harder and Hard, Mike's Hard and Mike's Harder, about how they worked so hard with the U.S. government to get this designation to say not gluten-free, because it could never truly testify that it was gluten-free. But they told the government, we can testify that it was designed to remove gluten to the best of our ability. We can't guarantee it has no gluten. So they say first the U.S. government rejected it. No, and then they came back and say, okay. And then they brag, we're the first people to use this designation and this symbol, a circle with a check mark in it. They say we designed that thing, that device, and the government approved it and say, yeah, it's really actually pretty good. So crafted to remove gluten, but not guaranteed to be gluten-free. Because they're taking beer, it says in a can, flavored ale, so that means top fermented, but they're concocting it, almost even you could call it distilling it like a vodka. Then you just taken all the actual product out of it, and then you just got a clear, odorless, colorless base, much like vodka, or much even more like neutral grain spirits, however you want to say that word. It's expressed both ways. And you're adding flavor and the sweetener to get the actual flavor. The flavor is not coming from the beer. It's like with these flavored, even blended whiskey, whether it's Canadian, Scotch, Irish, American. The flavor is not really coming from the grain spirits. They're neutral. That's what they call them, neutral grain spirits. If you just made it from neutral grain spirits, it would taste like virtually nothing. It would be almost like vodka. But it isn't. It's grain neutral spirits. Vodka is different because they distill it like 4 to 6 to 8 times. And then they charcoal filter it to get it like that. But and then the flavor is going to come from the single malts, straight bourbon that they add, or I should say blend in with the grain spirits. So then you have these blended whiskeys that have flavor, all sorts of different flavors. And you got these pre-mixed cocktails, beer cocktails that have flavor, all sorts of interesting flavors. Do they tend to taste similar one to another? Yeah, they have some common characteristics. Very tart. That type of sourness, tart. Like a citrus, like a lemon or lime tartness. They have that. They're super sugary sweet. It's like you can feel your teeth rotting while you eat it. You know what I'm saying? Cavities forming at each sip. The good ones like the Geloso original Club Tails, the Mike's Harder. Those are the two best examples. Oh well, Steel Reserve Alloy Series. Those are 3 great examples. They're not cloyingly sweet. They're sweet, but they don't make you like, like gag. They're just like appropriately sweet. It must take a lot of effort and work to get them that way. And then they're usually not as heavy as you think they would be. And they also have a very high calorie count, which you don't think you're getting, but it's extremely high calories. So if you're on a diet and you're drinking these, you're fooling yourself. Your diet is being destroyed, undermined, hampered. You're not going to achieve your goal. And the fourth thing is they cannot be allowed to warm. They're really designed to be super cold, nearly ice crystal formed, much like a margarita, which is almost like or a daiquiri, like a pureed ice smoothie, alcohol smoothie. So that's just how they're designed to be. Red's Wicked is another good one. Those are kind of fading away. They used to have a plethora of flavors. Now I think they only have 3 that they're listing on the website. They kind of rebranded it with a new look. The new look doesn't seem to have made a big difference. The new look, debuted in March when the coronavirus hit, the coronavirus. So that seemed to undermine those plans. Well, the virus didn't. The response to it did. The hysteria, the overreaction. Like Ron Paul said this morning in that article, virus is going to do what they're going to do. They're going to spread to the population, infect people, kill some people, not many. Like in this case, 1% of the infected people. Probably not that high. They just, Trump, they gin the numbers up. And then they'll die away, and that's it. And so, but the hysteria, the response has undermined the Red's Wicked thing. But there's so many you could talk about. DMX. I'm sorry, MXD. DMX, that's a bike, right? Or BMX, that's a bike. BMX. But MXD, mixed canned cocktails, those are similar to this. They're pretty good. Not perfect. A little too strong, 12%. The 12% makes it a little too much. They're good. I've had 3 flavors. I think there's more than those, but those are 3 I had. There's it was in my head, now it's out of my head. I know there's the Colt 45 Blast. Don't see those around. They might have died away. I don't think that ever gone. I saw it here and then it was gone the next. It seemed like it was here today, gone tomorrow. Of course, you got the infamous Four Loko. They're all artificial flavored. You know, they're all artificial. There ain't a naturally flavored Four Loko on the market, from what I could tell. And they're 12 to 14%. I tried a 14% sour apple, sour green apple. I did the video and then I deleted it. I said, I can't drink this. I don't even want to promote this. I don't even want people to, even if they'll say it's, and I did say it was kind of good, you know, but, you know, it looked like antifreeze. And furthermore, it's just too strong. People should not drink things that strong. I mean, that's beyond reason. So why, you know, a serving is 5 ounces. So you got a 4.5 servings in a can, you know, but they're not buying it and serving it. Each person, everybody's taking it. I mean, that theoretically, that's what should happen. You got 4 people, each taking a little glass of it, 5 ounces, and then you let one person have the rest. But you know what they're doing. They're buying a whole Four Loko 24-ounce can or a 23.5 ounce. And they're drinking it alone. It's a tragic thing because it's so strong, 14%. I just drank 10 ounces. I think it was about 10 ounces. It was so strong. I just felt cockeyed, you know, like P-laid. I couldn't think straight too well. I did a little bit. Hold on, I'll be right back. But the next morning, I just said, I'm deleting it because I don't even want my name associated with saying it's an okay product. That the Four Loko sour apple. But honestly, it is true. I honestly could not say it tasted horrible. But it didn't really taste that good because it's just too strong. When you get to 12%, things start to break down. Start getting shaky, like with the MXD. So here's the can. Mike's Harder Mango, you see. All right. You know, and it's bad enough we got to deal with all these monument iconoclasts, people going around destroying beautiful monuments. To people that, do they have a perfect background? No, you don't have a perfect background. I don't have a perfect background. These fanatics, these socialist left-wing fanatics, I don't care who you are. If you're a fanatic, I've got a problem with you. You could be right-wing fanatic, whatever. I don't really like you, you know. So, but anyway, the Four Loko, I didn't feel comfortable with that. And I'm not going to try anymore. I know what they're going to taste. I just know what they're going to taste like. And the MXD, that starts to be questionable. When you get, and it's not the product is poorly made, no. Because it's the same people that make this. Same people that make this make the MXD, which is Genesee. That's who owns it. You know it's Genesee. But they try to hide behind alias names. But it starts to break down because of the high alcohol. It's 12%, just cannot mask it. It just becomes sort of chalky, hard to take. At 14%, then it starts to become unbearable. And it really isn't the product. It's the alcohol level is too high. I don't care if it's craft beer. It could be craft beer and it starts to taste rancid. Just because it's too strong. You know what I mean? Off-putting. By golly, I had the Santa Claus, the classic, the Helles, and the Schwartz. The classic is the kind of brown colored one. The Helles is the light one, and the Schwartz is the black one. Helles Doppelbock, dark Doppelbock Schwartz beer. And the classic like a Dunkelbock, Doppelbock. But it's 14%. And when you drink that whole 11.2 ounce bottle, you feel like somebody drugged you, like literally injected medicine into your bloodstream. And I don't like that feeling. You might like the feeling. I don't like the feeling. I know I do the Dawn Busters and all, but that's it. That's it. It's just like, you see how much is in those little glasses? I wouldn't want to go higher than that. I'll just move. So 8 to 10% is like the perfect range for the 8 You wouldn't want to go lower because they don't hold together so well. I've had many of the lower level ones, ABV. They don't hold together so well. 8 to 10% is like ideal. Above 10, it's questionable. Below 8 is questionable. But, you know, back to that before I close out, these fanatics, you know, they want to smash Confederate monuments. They say, well, the people were imperfect. Well, they don't say they were imperfect. They just say they were evil. But the people weren't evil. You know, John C. Calhoun, Robert E. Lee, P.G.T. Beauregard, Jefferson Davis, Thomas Jefferson. They were all good people. They weren't perfect. They were way better than these revolutionaries smashing the statues. Those are the bad people. Because they'll say, like, well, John C. Calhoun was a slave owner. Totally irrelevant. It's a totally irrelevant statement to make. It was a legal practice in 1840s. Not endorsing it. I'm saying it was a legal practice. It was constitutional. The United States Constitution allowed it. In fact, the United States Constitution defended it, made it. It was actually, if you read the Constitution, it was required that they be returned. If a runaway slave was found, he had to be returned. He or she had to be returned to the owner upon application of return. I didn't write the Constitution. Go read it. William Lloyd Garrison, he was a bad man. You say, no, he was a good man. He wanted to free the slaves. No, he was a bad man because he was willing to have millions of people killed to free slaves. And he said the United States was an evil government because it allowed slavery. And he burned the Constitution, I think in Boston, in a public ceremony. And people said, you're crazy. You know, why are you burning the United States Constitution? He said, because if you read the Constitution, it entrenches slavery and actually protects it, the Constitution. Well, he was right about that. William Lloyd Garrison was right. His approach was wrong. If you didn't like it, you amend the Constitution is what you do. You amend it. Abraham Lincoln wanted to amend the Constitution, but if you read his compromise speeches after the secession ordinances in the South, you know what he wanted to do to amend it? He wanted to add an amendment which would make slavery permanently legal. In other words, legal permanently and could never be repealed. Why? To placate the South so that the Southern states would come back to the Union and pay tariffs, which he wanted them to pay. Which really he wanted to build a. Lincoln was a Republican, so he wanted to build a huge what? A huge industrialized capitalist empire, international finance capitalist empire run by northern states to be in, you would think, collusion with the British Empire and rule the world. But the South said no. They weren't really opposed to that idea necessarily, but they said, we don't like, it's going too far. There's too many troublemakers in the North, and they were angry about the who would control the Western territories that they had taken over from Mexico. And they just said, we're leaving. We're out of here. Bye. We want to leave. We want to get out. And it's funny that the modern media says they were traitors. They were traitors against the United States. Well, they weren't traitors. They wanted to leave the United States. If somebody tells me I'm going to move to Denmark, that doesn't make them a traitor. They just want to get out. Now, if I get a gun and say I'm going to kill you if you try to leave, and then they fight back, that wouldn't make them a traitor. They might just be practicing self-defense, right? Common sense, right? And these same people, these same blockheaded people on the internet that say, on the news, CNN, Fox, whatever, that will say, oh, they were traitors because they fought against the United States. Those same people will say the Americans were good because they fought against the British. They will endorse the American Revolution, fought against the country they had taken an oath of allegiance to defend. So why weren't they traitors? So, they want it both ways. If you ask the international left, the liberals, and many conservative Republicans, who a lot of them don't have the brains to fight themselves out of a wet paper bag. If you ask these people, what do you want? What do you want? They would say everything and nothing. That's what they want. They want everything and nothing. In other words, you can't reason with them because they don't have any reasonable level of intelligence. Many of these people in Congress, Democrats, liberals, so-called conservative Republicans, most of which are not really conservative, AKA or RE, for example, John Roberts from the Supreme Court. I warned about him over 10 years ago. People said I was being negative. Now they realize I was right, as usual. Most of these guys are lawyers, but they don't know the Constitution. And I would never hesitate to argue with them. They don't know the Constitution. Now, Ron Paul, yeah, he knows the Constitution. He's a retired congressman. But they don't know the Constitution. They know case law. They'll say, well, in this versus that. It's like, okay, all right, you can quote a bunch of case laws. That's great. I can look that up in a reference book, by the way. But anyway, they don't really understand the Constitution. And they're lawyers. They should, but they don't. Because they're not taught that. I have a friend who's an attorney. He's been an attorney over 20 years. I said, do they really even teach the Constitution in law school? He said, no. No, they don't. They only teach case law. They call it constitutional law, but it's just cases. They don't teach about the impact of the 14th Amendment, anti-discrimination laws, anything. Because maybe the people teaching it don't understand it. But anyway, I might go to the main channel and do a video. I think I might. It might be interesting. Probably cause a lot of problems. But anyway, could be time to do that. Thanks for watching this video production.